Rosa Kelly and I am here with a new tutorial for you. This tutorial is going to be a super fun lap book. So I'm going to be using, as you can see, the Stamperia Alice collection that you can find at JS Hobbies and Crafts, and I am going to leave the link on the description box below, as well as all the supplies that we are going to need. So I'm super excited. Let's get started. So we're going to start with our chipboard. I'm going to cut it at 9 by 11. So when I cut my chipboard, I like to turn it around and do it again, just like so, because it's pretty heavy. And then we're going to do here 11. Okay, so I'm gonna need 2 pieces of this. So then I'm going to cut 2 pieces of 9 by 1.5. So here we go. So we're gonna need 2 of those, and then I'm gonna need 1 more of 9 here. So I'm just using whatever I have left for this part, and this is going to be 3 inches. Okay, so 9 by 3, 2 9 by 1.5, and 2 9 by 11. So I'm gonna put the chipboard together using some Tapa. So I'm just gonna cut this piece in half, and this probably measures about 3 inches or so. So I'm gonna place it down, and I'm going to add the little 1.5 inch piece. So I'm just gonna be using this 1 inch tape here that I have. I'm just gonna place it right on the center, kind of in the center. Peel this off and just place this right on the center here, just like so. And then I'm gonna use my small tape here. This is a 1/2 inch tape, and I'm just gonna place it on the sides, on both sides. There we go. And I'm going to leave a little space in between the chipboard and the tape. So when I put, I'm sorry, the chipboard and the tape, and then when I put my chipboard piece, this other chipboard piece, you want to make sure you leave a little bit of space, like about 1/8 of an inch, like so. And now I can press this down, just like that. And I do the same here with the other chipboard piece, just like so. Okay, and the tie back, what it does is it gives your album a little bit of extra strength, and because this is a larger little folio, we kind of need just the extra support. So now I'm gonna grab the other piece, and I'm going to do the same using this 1.5 inch and the 3 inches, like so. Okay, so I have my pieces put together, and then I'm going to trim here the extra tie back that I have. And this is still pretty flimsy. We are going to wrap it around the cardstock as well. So I'm just gonna trim these ones out. Okay, so now I'm gonna use my 12 by 12 cardstock, and I'm just gonna join these 3 together. So I am using 85-pound cardstock for this step. I'm gonna be using this 85 for the whole project. I don't recommend using 110 for the cover because it tends to crack. And the 65, it's probably a little too flimsy for your pages on the folio. So I think 85 pound, it's a good balance. So I'm going to join the 3 together. Now this is gonna be a little bit hard to show because it is a little bit larger than usual. Once we put it down, we're probably gonna trim on the sides, but what I'm worried about is, or what I'm going to pay attention is that when we place the folio, you're not gonna have any of the bending parts where we have this connection, and I'll show you what I mean, just to prevent any opening or cracking on the future. So I'm just gonna place these two together just like that. Okay, so now I have the 3 pieces, and I will go ahead and bring, okay, let me move some things around my desk because I don't have enough room for all of these. Here we go. Large piece, and we bring the base that we just put together like so. So I'm going to scooch this around so you guys can see this end, just like that. So this join part where we put together the cardstock, make sure it's not here where we're bending. Okay, so right here on the side, that's great. Same thing on the other side. So if we place it right here, we should be okay. Now to pull this down, you can use your art glitter glue. What I like about this glue is it won't wrinkle your paper. You won't see any of the wrinkle on the cover here. But if you're really worried about the crinkle and all that, so go ahead and use your double-sided tape, which is what I'm going to use. So I'm going to turn this around, and I'm going to put my tape on this back side where the Tyvek is. Okay, so I added all the tape, as you can see on the back. I wanted to show you because it looks so pretty. So let me go ahead and peel everything off, and then I'm just gonna turn this around and place it down. So I won't be able to show you everything because it is so long, so I'll just scooch this over so you can see. Okay, so now I place the chipboard down on the cardstock, and I'm just going to trim the sides here. I do just want just about an inch around on both sides. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna do this other side as well, right, like this. Okay, and you don't need to worry about these being super even or anything like that. All right, so now I'm going to just slowly bend the cardstock and kind of give it the shape, and just start pressing it down just like so, all the way on both sides, all the sides. Okay, just like that. And then we're gonna do the sides as well, just like that. And make sure you press this down really good, just like so. And then we're gonna go ahead and trim the corner here like so, just like that. Okay, and you want to make sure you stay off the chipboard a little bit, and we will do the same on all the corners. Then we can go ahead and add some tape here on the long side. Cut that out, and then we're just going to put this down. So I'm going to take off all this tape. It's a really long piece, and I'm just gonna press this down. And since we already bent this ahead, then we know it's going to be right where we want it. So make sure you press this down. Okay, and then we do the same on the other side. Okay, and then when we get to the sides, we are also going to do some tape. But before we bend this down, let's go ahead and make sure that these corners are tacked in. So you can just do that with your nails, just like I'm doing here. Okay, you just want to fold the little pointy parts down. Okay, so let's press this really hard. And now we can go ahead and remove the tape like so. Okay, and then we will do the same on the other side. We did it. This was a really large piece to do, so I'm sorry if you couldn't see the whole thing. It's hard to show everything, but now we're gonna go back to our little spines, and we're just gonna press down here on this gap, kind of to give it a little shape so this can't bend without problem. Okay, so we're gonna do one like that, and then we're gonna do this one here as well. So I'm going to cut a piece of this measures 5 inches, and I'm gonna cut this at 8 3/4 like this, and this is just going to be to place in here on my spine. So I'm going to do one here, and then I'm gonna do one for this side as well. After I add this piece, I'm going to find the bending point, so you will see the little gap on the top and the bottom, and I'm gonna go ahead and score this again, just right there, just so it's easy to bend. And then I have one more here and here. So we're gonna do this again. All right, so now we're just gonna bend this and this one as well. Here we go. And then we do the same here. Okay, so now I am done with my cover. So on this side over here, I'm going to be adding some magnets. So now I'm gonna add some magnets. So I have some strong heavy-duty magnets here, and I'm going to use 4 of them. So I'm just going to be adding this with my double-sided tape. So here I'm just gonna get a piece, long piece like this, and I want one right here, kind of in the center of this flap, just like that. And then I'm going to place this other one up over here. Okay, so then what I do is place the other magnet right there. And then I'm going to get 2 more pieces of tape, this time with the sticky side up. Place the magnet down, and I'll do the same with the other one. Sticky side up, magnet, and now we're gonna close this book. So now make sure when we close it, it's standing up. You have these corners lined up, and now we can go ahead and press to get that long part of the sticky tape to get here. Now this is a very strong magnet, so when I open it's probably gonna be still in place, which it is. So what I do in that case is I'm gonna grab my little bone folder, separate the 2, and open it up, and there we go. Yeah, these are super strong magnets. So make sure these are nice and sticky down here. And now that I know where my magnets are gonna go, I can go ahead and work on this side. I'm gonna cut a piece of cardstock, and I am gonna do 8 3/4 by 11 1/2. Okay, so I have a piece like so, and now I'm going to score. I'm gonna score 1 inch on one of the sides. So on the 11 1/2 side, I'm going to score 1 inch, and I want this little connection to be really strong and sturdy. This is why I'm doing 1 inch instead of the 1/2 inch that we normally do. All right, so now we're just gonna add some tape over here. Kids are being funny right now. So I'm gonna add my tape, and I'm using the 3/8 of an inch, so I'm gonna be using 2 to these. Okay, and now I'm just going to peel off the tape here. So this is gonna go on this left side of the book like so. So I'm gonna peel just a little bit on the top of these 2 tapes. That way I have a little bit of time to adjust and make sure that it's even. Okay, and now I'm gonna press this down and take the 2 pieces of tape off. Okay, so these magnets are really strong, so even though I have this flap in here, when I close these, they're still going to hold really good. I'm gonna use this image. I love this for, you know, it will be the first thing you see when you open your book. So I'm going to trim this a little bit so it will fit. Remember, our page measures 8 3/4 height, so we have to trim it at 8 1/2. Okay, and for the side, this is gonna measure 10 1/2 after we placed it. So I'm going to trim this at 10 1/4. So just like so, this piece should fit perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and distress or ink around the page because I am going for a more vintagey type of book. So I'm just gonna go around with these, and I'm gonna be doing this step for every paper that I add on, you know, on my book. So I'm not gonna be, I'm showing you for purpose of time, and then also it's optional. You don't have to do this step. Okay, so look how pretty it looks. I love it. Okay, so I'm going to actually add one more magnet here just because I feel like I need a lot of strength on this closure. So I'm just going to start on this side now. It'll be easier. I'm just gonna put the tape right there, and then I'm gonna find where the magnet connects up here, and then I'm going to place my tape with the sticky side up. Okay, and now I'm just gonna close this again, and I'm going to again help the tape with my tool, and then I'm just gonna open it, and then it's right in place. I feel like 3 magnets are better than 2. So, and then if you have a smaller magnets, you can even add like 2 layers of, you know, or you can always use Velcro. Velcro works really good for this type of project. Okay, so now that I have that out of the way, I want to add another flip over here. So I have this piece of scraps that I'm just gonna cut down and do a flip up here. So let me tell you what this piece measures. So this is 6 1/2, and I'm going to cut this at 9 1/4. Okay. So 6 1/2 by 9 1/4, and then I'm going to score half an inch, just half an inch along the 9 1/4, just like so. All right, so now I'm gonna fold this, add some tape. Okay, and for this I'm using the 3/8 of an inch tape, just like that. And now I'm going to bring this back over here, open this flap up. You want to stay clear of the magnets. This is why this page is a little bit smaller, but you could actually place this right on the center. Okay, or we can do one of the sides, but I'm gonna do the center. All right, so make sure it is straight, and now we're gonna press this down and place that here. So now we have another flap opening, and this closes up like that. Now if you want these to also close flat, we can add magnets on this side as well. So I'll be doing that later. I might not, because I don't really think it needs a magnet. So okay, so now let's move on to the center of the book. I want this book to have a lot of interaction, and we're gonna start building from the bottom up. Okay, so I'm grabbing a new sheet here. Remember, I'm working with 85-pound cardstock, and this is the Heartfelt Creations. So I'm cutting these at 10 3/4 by 10. Okay, and and let me cut this at 10. So now I'm gonna place this on my scoreboard along the 10-inch. So you want the 10-inch here and the 10 3/4 down here. So I'm going to score at 1 inch. And let me use this one. So I'm gonna score at 1 and 1.5. Okay, just like that. And now I'm gonna fold right along these score lines, and this is gonna be one of the pages. So we're gonna use this big 1 inch to put some double-sided tape, like so. 1 and 2. Okay, and then we are gonna put this. So remember how we have a big 1/2 inch area here, kind of like a square? So this is gonna be the gusset in between this page and the bottom. So now I'm just gonna lay this flat for now, take off the 2 pieces of tape. Okay, so I'm just gonna hold them up, and now I'm gonna make sure it is centered in between these score lines, and then it is aligned on the top, just like that. Okay, so we have this piece. So now when we stand this up on the score line, you will see that it's gonna have all this dimension to it. Okay, a 1/2 inch gusset there on the top. So now I'm going to cut another sheet, and this one is also going to be 10 3/4. And now this one is going to measure 9 3/4. Okay, so it's slightly smaller than the first one we did. I'm gonna place this along the 9 3/4, and I'm going to score again at 1 inch and 1.5. Okay, so let me do this again. 1 inch, 1.5. Now we're gonna fold along the score lines, 1 and 2, and I'm gonna place my tape again, just like this. 1 and 2. Okay, and now we're gonna bring our book back, and we are going to place this page. Same thing we did here. I'm gonna open that up, and now this is gonna go on the bottom. So let's peel off a little bit of this tape. I'm gonna fold it out like so, so it's coming down, and now I'm going to just align on the bottom, just like so. Okay, and then we can just pull out the rest of the tape. So now we have this flap on the bottom as well, and I like doing this because now we have 2 1/2 inch gussets, one on the bottom, one on the top. So this on itself is going to stand up. It's gonna stay up. So because if we don't put the one on the bottom, then this one on the top keeps falling to the back. So we want to give it a little bit of stability and put the one on the bottom as well. So now I'm gonna open this up, and I'm gonna add a couple magnets here to keep this closed. So I have 2 sets of magnets, and now I'm just going to hold this perpendicular, make sure it's standing up like that, and now I can go ahead and press on so we can grab that tape, and there we go. We have our magnets in place. Now I'm gonna cut this beautiful design here, and I want to make sure it fits on my page, and I want it to be centered. So I know this is gonna measure 10.5. So I'm just gonna take off about 1.25 inches. Okay, so I'm doing that. And here, 10.5. Maybe like, so I want to start here on the top, and then I need 8.25, so it will be right here. Okay, so I'm just going to ink around. It looks so pretty with the inking around. I just think it gives it a little extra something. All right, so now I'm gonna place this image right down here. Okay, so this page is done. So now let's work on some interaction. I have here some black envelopes from my stash, and I'm just going to create different elements to add into my book. So I'm going to start by, I'm gonna make sure these are closed and glued really good. So instead of using the glue from the envelope itself, I'm just gonna use some double-sided tape that I know it's going to hold a little bit better. So let me cut that out and take the tape off and just close this. Okay, so I'm gonna do the same for all these ones, but then I'm gonna come back here and I'm gonna cut this in half. Now I'll tell you this measures 6.5 by 4 3/4. So I'm just going to cut this right on half. Now if you don't have the same size envelope as I do, all you can do, it's easier to just fold it in half like so, and then you know you have exactly the mark where you want to cut these. So like so, and so this measure, see, it's like an even number, like 3 and 8. So yeah, so it's a lot easier to just fold it in half. So now you know you have 2 equal sizes. So I'm gonna be doing the same for these 3. Okay, so now I have my 8 little half envelopes here. So we're gonna put them together. First, we're gonna make sure that the opening is on the top for all of them, and you have them all in the right direction. And then I'm gonna grab my tape, and what I'm doing here is an accordion fold pocket. So I'm just going to place double-sided tape on the back of this, and I'm kind of gonna leave around, probably right around 3/4 of an inch away from the edges. As you can see, we're gonna place them right here and there, and then I'm also gonna put one on the top. Okay, so then I'm gonna peel off the tapes here, and you can also do this with glue if you like. And I'm just gonna take that out, and then I'm gonna place another one right on top. Okay, just like so. And then I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna do one stripe of tape here, one here, and one on the top. Okay, so we're just gonna do those 3, and I'm just gonna continue building this. Take off this tape and this one. Okay, and then I'm gonna place the next one. Make sure that your opening is on the top. Okay, and we're gonna do the same to all of these. I'm done putting mine together, and when you open it, you are going to have a little accordion booklet like so. Isn't that fun? So fun. Okay, so this is going to be one of the elements for our little book. Now I'm going to grab a piece of cardstock here, and I'm going to cut these at 3 inches. So I'm going to get 2 sets. So So I'm gonna cut this at 3, and I'm going to cut this again at 3. Okay, so 2 3 by 12. Now one of these I'm going to also cut at 3. So we're gonna have 4 little squares like so. Okay, and so what I'm making here is something that you already know. It is a little pull down waterfall. So with this piece, I'm going to grab my scoreboard, okay, and I'm going to score at 1/2, at 1, at 1.5, and at 2. Okay, so just 4 little parts to these, and now we're gonna fold along the score lines all on the same direction like so. And now I'm going to add some tape here, little tape in here. So now I'm gonna grab my little squares and I'm going to peel these off one at a time, starting with the bottom. So, and I'm just gonna place this one right on top, and you want to make sure you don't place your cardstock on top of, you know, the point where it's going to bend. So just a little bit below that score line, just like so. And then I do the next one. Let me zoom in so you guys can see a little bit better. Right here like this, and I have one more, and here we go. So now I have these 4 little pieces, and now for this long piece on the back, I'm going to just trim this about 1/2 inch away from the last one. So I'm gonna go right here and place this last one kind of like around 1/2 inch, and then I'm going to maybe a little bit bigger than 1/2 inch. Okay, something like so, because you do want a little bit of space to put a little eyelet in there. So now I'm gonna kind of fix this a little bit because it's not quite even. Okay, and just make sure that it looks nice and neat, and there we go. So we have another element to our book. Now I'm gonna grab one of these random pieces that I have here, and I'm going to just cut these at 1 inch. So now I'm going to place some double-sided tape right on the center here, just a little piece like this, and make sure this piece is smaller than your waterfall. And I'm gonna open this up. I'm gonna place this right here, kind of center side to side, and then I'm just going to take off this tape. Okay, I'm not placing it on the book yet, but I do want to have it ready. And then I'm just gonna close this like so. Okay, so now I have a piece like this. So when we add this to the book, we're just gonna add glue into these 2 little places, and when we place this down, we will be able to just play with the waterfall. Okay, so now we have 2 different interactions for our book. Next, we're going to be making this cute little pop-up card. Now let me tell you, this was so easy to do using these die cuts over here. I'm going to you will find these on the description box below, but these are by Long Fong and they're called pivot pop-up. So super easy to do. So I already cut the pieces and I will show you how to do it. Now I have done a pop-up card before, but it's a lot of measuring and a lot of you know, like scoring and cutting. So this just makes everything so simple. So let me grab the other 2 pieces that I cut over here. So now this die also comes with like little backgrounds and little trees, you know, so you can create your own little landscape. But I'm just gonna be using the pivot piece and the little card fold out part, which are these two parts right here. So I'll show you how to quickly put this together. So I'm gonna fold these two that I cut. I'm just gonna fold them in half, and these cute little notches here, they are to put them together. So I'm going to just grab my double-sided tape and put it on one in here like this, and then I'll do the same on this other one like so. And then I'm just going to peel off the tape here and here, just like that. And then these two are going to go together like so. Okay, so we'll put one on, like both of them kind of like hugging each other. So I'm going to place them just like so, and then I'm just gonna press down, and this is basically the base part of the card. So now we're gonna fold it and make sure it's nice and flat. And now we're gonna work on this other piece, and this is what makes it so easy to do. So the first thing we're gonna do here, you're gonna see this score line right down the center, and then you're gonna see the little X. So we're gonna start with the one down the center. Just fold it on half like so, and then on the X part we're just gonna fold it forward like towards you. I'm gonna press this really hard, and then I'm gonna open it, and I'm gonna fold the other one again towards me. How easy is that? We did not have to measure or cut or anything like that. So now once I have that X folded, I'm just gonna kind of pinch this together and bring it towards me like so. And now I'm gonna press this again. So you're gonna get this pointy arrow like this, and so on both sides. So we are going to put some tape here on the top part of this arrow, just like that. And this is the pivot piece that is gonna go into the card. So I'm gonna turn this around and do tape on the other side as well. Okay, so I've never loved a die more than this one. This is so cool. It just, I can't say it enough how simple it makes this pop-up card. Now the card part, you can make it any size you want. You can make it a bigger card, smaller card. So I want the base of my card to be tiny, like the one I did here. So this measures 7 by 2 3/4. Okay, so now I'm just gonna fold this on half, just like so. Okay, just another cute little pop-up element. So now I'm gonna open this up, and I'm just gonna place, if you open this up, you are going to see a little circle on the center. So that circle, if you line it up to the bending on your card, you know where exactly where to place it. But what I'm gonna do is just kind of put it right here, just like so, and I'm gonna hold it here, and I'm just gonna peel off the tape on one of the sides, just like that. Make sure it's centered on both sides, and this is kind of touching. And now I'm just going to press this down. I'm gonna turn it around, open this up again, and peel off the tape on this side. Super easy. Now we're gonna press this down really good, and now we are going to add the pop-up element. So for this, all we're gonna do right here is we're gonna place our tape or glue on this square on the top and this square on the bottom. Okay, so I have the tape on both sides, and I'm just gonna lay this flat, and I'm going to peel off the tape here and here out of these little squares. And then all I'm gonna do is just center the card over here, and kind of you get that little bubble here so you know where your center is. And then you will fit this piece right in here. So you make sure that the top lines up with the top here as well. So I'm just gonna place it like that, and then all we do is just press this down flat. Okay, so wasn't that so easy to do? Look how fast we did this. Now we're gonna add our interactions into our book, but I'm going to continue these on the next part. So I hope that you guys enjoyed the tutorial so far. Please join me for part 2, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.